Alright guys, down here at the shop. I'm gonna end up changing out the mufflers in the Pontiac. Annoyingly loud. I got some turbo mufflers. Also gonna be adding a drive shaft safety loop. You can tell it's offset. I'll make a little bit more detailed instructions on that. But you could see there's actually mount brackets there for like an exhaust hanger. So we're actually going to use that, which is why it's offset. But you can kind of get creative with these, especially if you got a welder, which is what I'm going to be doing. So I will start chopping away at the exhaust and stuff and get going on this. Alright, so I got the drive shaft safety loop kind of in place just to kind of show you guys what's going on, because obviously like there's a little bit of a discrepancy here between this side and that side. Again, this floor is uneven. These mid-70s GM cars where they were going to metric are really goofy. So the floor sits higher on this side than that side, and you can tell I got my brackets offset. Now, I may just put it in like that and it might be a little off, but either way, I'm using a pretty sturdy point in the floor to lock it in, and that's where my intentions are, really, to be honest with you. So I think I'm going to cut this side off. I have to bring this up a hair. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to end up drilling these holes here. This is exactly what I did on the Cutlass. I'm going to drill these holes here, these lower ones, go through the bracket and then mount it up higher and then trim the rest of it off. And then the upper hoop is going to be welded in place. So that way if I have to drop the drive shaft, all I have to remove is just a lower half and it's easy peasy at that point. But we're going to have plenty of room there. It just has to sit a little bit higher than the exhaust and it won't rub. The only area that rubs going up my driveway is my header collectors. So really we're in the clear there, but I don't want it to look ugly underneath. So I'm going to get going on this. I just got done doing the exhaust, so I freed up the jack stand. So I'll show you guys, I guess, the exhaust. Nice little cherry bomb turbo mufflers, little dumps out. They're pretty good. My welds weren't the greatest, so I'll spare you they weren't horrible, but you know, I just wanted to weld them up, so I did what any exhaust shop would normally do, is just fucking weld it, burn through the aluminized coating. But not the greatest. I've done a lot better, you know. Those are pretty good, and you guys have seen other stuff I've welded, so it has to be on there. That's the point. I'm not building a fucking show car here anyway. So I'm not afraid to show you guys that I'm human. Can I do some good welds? Yes, but it also takes time to prep. God damn it, the air compressor always fucking goes off when I'm talking. Fuck you, air compressor. So either way, I'm gonna get going on this and then I'll follow it up, guys. I got holes to make first to mount this motherfucker, and then we're gonna go from there. Alright guys, so eyeball fabrication 101 before I start doing anything. So you guys can see I have my bolt hole here, so I'm going to make a hole like here in line with my center punch, and that's going to be where I'm going to drill. And same over here, even though I'm on a little bit of an angle. You just make your holes a little bit bigger for adjustment and you're good. Same thing on this side, and on this side I'm going to go in through the side, center punch, center punch, center punch, center punch. That's where my holes are going to be. And you just, you know, if you're going to use a 3/8 bolt, you can go to a 1/2 inch hole and you freed up a, you know, 1/8 of an inch. Some guys may not like that, but you know, I guess it's however you really want to do it. I could make a template, do the layout, do the measurement, do the holes dead on, but for our purpose, the 1/2 inch is plenty. It's not too much. Yeah, so I just figured I would share that with you guys. That little tip, I guess. Alright, so this is what I'm doing. So this is the top half that's going to be facing the floor. I've given it a little bevel, cleaned off both sides. For now I'm just going to tack weld it. This is where vice grips are your friend. So I had to stretch it out just a hair. And then once this is in place and I can actually bolt it up into the floor, I'll work on the lower, and I'm probably going to have to take it back off one more time to trim the extra. Drill my holes where I want them on this bottom saddle to actually bring it up. I have to remove material from the saddle to get it to tighten up, because at the front of the drive shaft of the transmission you really don't have much flex, so you can make it really, really tight, tucked out of the way. And at the front of the drive shaft is the most critical part, because if it lets go and it drops, it will pogo the car. It can pogo the car and rip out shit. So with that being said, you guys can see how much of an offset here I have. and I might have to plate it up and adjust it a little better, but we'll see once it's actually in what it looks like. If it's a little cockeyed in there, I'm fine, because again, the drive shaft won't move enough side to side or up and down to really hit anything. So there you guys go on that one. So I'm gonna tack weld it, put it up in place. All right, so it's in. It's not too bad. Bolted in place. Let me see if I can turn on my fucking flash here. There we go. You guys can see it's in place. It's not too bad. Bolted. I decided not to cut it. We'll see if it survives the driveway. If anything, I actually need to put new front springs in the car. The front's sagged. I got Hotchkiss springs on there. They're garbage. The car just, it's too nose low. I need to raise it up a little bit. So I'm going to be on the hunt for new front springs for this car anyway. So I may, if it makes it up the driveway, it'll just stay that way. But yeah, so drive shaft safety loop is done. Bolted in place. Upper half is welded. And then new mufflers. Hopefully it sounds good.